It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says ta-da.
And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode.
She is a star with a capital S.
It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that?
It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello and welcome to episode 103 of the Sprint Lane podcast for Harness Racing New South Wales. This is the Sunday session. My name is Greg Hayes and it is great to have your company again this week. Another week passes and we are now less than 2 weeks away from the Eureka. So where are we at and what has happened since last week's podcast? Only the tab is left to fill its slot for the event, with Kevin and Kay Seymour confirming during the week that the 3-year-old Bay of Biscay will line up for them. Impressive win at Melton last night, so too Major Delight, who got the job done. Huge concerns with the Lost Storm for Summit Bloodstock and Aaron Bain Racing after its performance at Melton on Saturday night. He finished more than 80 metres behind the winner captain Hammerhead, who coincidentally competed in the event last year as well. The Lost Storm was scoped after the race. No abnormalities were reported. It's a really interesting time for Jamie and Aaron as to what their next step is, but if it was my slot, I'd want a horse coming into the race with better form than the Lost Storm has been showing. Funnily enough, I went down to the local club to watch the Raiders and a few of the early races at Menangle on Saturday night. I'm sitting there minding my own business. I hear a couple of the regulars talking behind me about how they're catching a bus to cheer on Captain's Knock in the Eureka in a fortnight. I live in Goulburn now, and obviously he's a Goulburn horse, but great to see that the race has cut through the punting public and people talking about harness racing again. Big night for Jason Grimson at headquarters. He had 5 horses in 5 races. He won 4 of those. He also brought up his 400th career training winner. So he trains half the card and brings up a milestone in the process. Big race is just around the corner. The team is firing on all cylinders. Well done to Jason and Jack Callaghan, who drove 3 of the winners. Cam Hart, of course, picked up the other one, Artie's Express. I am burying the lead a little bit here because while it has been an open race, the Eureka, since betting first opened, there is now a dominant favourite in the event with the West Australian Never Ending, as short as $2.50 with some betting shops. I tweeted that I thought he would start closer to even money in a fortnight after his run to finish second to Major Moth last night. If Never Ending was a greyhound, he would have lost sight of the lure. He was that far behind Major Moth on the turn. He got to the outside, he sprouted wings up the straight and was beaten less than a length. The sectionals were blistering. The winner was very strong. The runner-up was outstanding. And while he was driven cold on Saturday night, he doesn't have to be driven that one-dimensionally. I've said it before, Gary Hall Jr. is one of the better big race drivers in the country, if not the best, and he knows how to time his run in these big events. Never Ending's finishes, I'm the Mighty Quinn-like. Please, I'm not comparing the two. It's just the way the horse can explode off any speed that makes him such an exciting prospect. It was interesting. I came across a social media post written by well-known Western Australian form analyst Russell Betts that has aged particularly well. I hope he doesn't mind, but I wouldn't mind reading a few sections from that post. And this is what Russell said. Now, keep in mind that he wrote this a day after Never Ending had its first start. Right? This is what Russell had to say on social media. I think I saw a special young horse yesterday, and I don't make this claim lightly. In regards to yesterday's debut victory of the Justin Prentice trained 2-year-old colt Never Ending, I could simply write that he's very smart, but I actually think he might be more than very smart. So I'll go out on a limb and say what I truly thought when I watched and subsequently dissected his victory over the talented Rocococo. What I saw yesterday is a pacer with clearly more upside to come. What I witnessed reminded me of a late afternoon just on 30 years ago when I watched an unraced 2-year-old trial at Gloucester Park. Trials were like race meetings back in those days, and a large contingent of people sat together in the grandstand. I was 29 years old, but still perceived by most to be a youngster. In the warm-down lap, I said something like, we just watched a champion. I remember being told I was being a tad over the top with my bold assertion. The pacer's name was Shandon. Rightly or wrongly, as Never Ending strode to an improbable victory, Shandon's name also came into my head. The The post goes on to read, I asked Gary Hall Jr. after the win on debut if he'd driven any comparable paces at the same age. He paused for a moment and then said one horse, Bodine Boaz. Having an opinion and stating it publicly means that, of course, there will be times when you get egg on your face, but without wanting to put the mocker on Justin and the paces connections, what I have written above is what I felt as I viewed Never Ending's debut performance and what the stopwatch reaffirmed to me when I rewatched the race several times. Now, Russell Betts wrote all of that on the 12th of July, 2022. Never Ending had just debuted and won at Pinjarra. Amazing words from Russell. Huge raps to put on a horse at that stage, but fair to say prophetic, and the post will get all the more noteworthy should Never Ending win the world's richest harness race in less than 2 weeks' time. Who's on the podcast this week? Well, I haven't caught up with Luke McCarthy for a while. Luke has 2 runners in the Eureka. Don Hugo will represent John Singleton. The horse performed off the charts in the Queensland Winter Carnival. Looks to be going from strength to strength at the right time and will run the distance right out, importantly. The second of the McCarthy runners is the 4-year-old mare I Keep Smiling, who will race for Western Jewel, which of course is Wayne Loader. Now, being a mare, she's going to get the advantage at the barrier draw over her stablemate, but she has been racing in great form and has the ability to be right in the finish. So we'll get the latest on his 2 runners for the race. I also want to find out who's the second driver for the stable. Once Luke commits to drive one, who gets the nod on the other? I wonder whether Luke might get on the phone and try and convince one of his brothers, Todd or Andy, to fly halfway around the world to drive in the race. Speaking of flying halfway around the world, it was one of the industry's worst-kept secrets, Luke heading to the USA on a working holiday. I spoke to Luke about it at the Newcastle Mile earlier in the year, and he said back then he wasn't going to say anything until he'd sorted out his visa and liaised with owners. Well, obviously, that's all happened, and I'll have a chat to Luke about the upcoming trip to the USA and what it means for his team of horses back here in Australia. My second guest this week will be Never Ending's trainer Justin Prentice. I spoke with Justin just over a month ago prior to him coming across to New South Wales. A lot of water has flowed under the bridge since then, and I want to see what he thought of Never Ending's run on Saturday night. I want to find out more about these reports concerning the lengthy period of time it took the horse to settle into its new surrounds and what he's going to do with the horse between now and Saturday week. I'll have a look through each of the Menangle races from Saturday night in the Menangle Express. I said last week Captain Tom was the best beaten effort of last Saturday night's program. He came out and won the first on Saturday night. I've been wrapping up Caligula for the last few starts, and he came out and led from close to start to finish in the trot. So hopefully a few people are taking some notice from the Express each week. Mr. T will pass on a couple of tips at the end of the podcast as per usual. Won't he be up and about? I made a small mistake last week suggesting that last week was the final week of the round. Well, that's incorrect. The round lasts a full season. Winter hasn't finished yet, so I've got one last chance to try and run him down this week. I'll try and take the second round of the tipping challenge. I won the first, so I'm leading 1-0. I'll pass on his tips at the end of the podcast. Another big one coming up, so let's get straight into it. My first guest this week is Luke McCarthy.
Don Lou still leading. Kanina Provlima. He's about to peel to the outside. Classy Washington gripping onto third, but he's under a drive. Deeper outer Rhoda. Don Hugo gets to the extreme outside. Don Lou in front. Kanina Provlima. Look at Don Hugo. Is good. Don Hugo. RD's Express on the outside, poking the nose in front. Ladies in red, she's got a lift. Ladies in red, RD's Express. I Keep Smiling off their backs, and she's launching. I Keep Smiling races to the lead. Manhattan deeper. I Keep Smiling takes the lead. I Keep Smiling.
Well, the 2 big stables in the Eureka, Emma Stewart, who's got multiple runners, 3 at the moment, and Luke McCarthy, who's got 2. And, of course, they combined last year to win it with Encipher. And I thought I might catch up with Luke McCarthy to have a chat about his 2 runners going into the Eureka in less than 2 weeks, Don Hugo and also I Keep Smiling. And Luke's joining me on the podcast. G'day, Luke. How are you?
Yeah, good. Greg, how are you?
Mate, really well. Nice spot to be in, 2 weeks out from the world's richest race, and you've got 2 runners in the race.
Yeah, very exciting, and good to be part of the race again. Both horses are in really good form, and looking forward to the race in 2 weeks' time.
Don Hugo hasn't raced since July 27. Of course, won the Blacks of Fate Consolation and looked really good in that race. What's he done since then?
He just had an easy week after the Blacks of Fate. He had a pretty strong carnival up there, and put in some really good runs. And he's had 2 trials back now. He trialled again on Friday at Albion Park and was very impressive in his trial. So really happy with where he's at. And I won't run him again in a race, but he's had plenty of work and a couple of trials, so he'll be right where he needs to be.
What did you make of his run in the Rising Sun when he was runner-up? That looked an absolute cracker of a run.
Yeah, he went huge, through Wide Park, done all the work and to narrowly get beat. So, yeah, he's just gone to another level again, this preparation. Every time we've given him a freshen up and set him for something, he seems to take the next step. So, yeah, he just turned into a really nice horse, and I'm sure he's going to be one of the top chances in the Eureka.
He can do work in the race, and I think that's one of his big assets. Few of the horses a little bit one-dimensional in the event, but he's definitely not. He can be driven how the race pans out.
Yeah, for sure. He's very versatile. He's shown them a few runs in Brisbane that he has strengthened right up and he can do the work. But then, of course, in the Blacks of Fate Consolation, he just sat back in the pack and off a hot tempo and finished over the top with a good sprint. So, yeah, he's very versatile and, sort of probably that's what it takes to have a horse in that sort of race.
What about I Keep Smiling? We haven't seen her since the 3rd of August. Of course, won the Golden Girl during the Queensland Carnival. How's she going at the moment?
Yeah, really good. Same thing. We just give her a nice easy week after that last start in Brisbane, and she trialled last week up there and was very impressive at the trial. So, their fitness is good. They've just kept ticking over and, couldn't be happier with her.
I guess the biggest decision that you got coming up in probably a week's time is which one you're going to drive.
Yeah, well, that's right. And, I don't think there's a lot between them. They're both good horses, both versatile, and just wait to see what the draw comes out with. But, either way, both horses would be, a really good drive in the race.
Have you got a second driver? Do you look to, get on the phone and call one of the brothers back from America to help you out in the Eureka, or what do you do?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely been mentioned, and it sort of add a bit to the race as well. If you get one of the boys to come across, and but we'll just sort of maybe sort through that over the next week and see how their schedule is. But I'm sure whichever way it goes, the owners and the slot holders will choose the driver that they want.
It's an exciting time in harness racing. We've just gone through the Queensland Winter Carnival, big success. New South Wales, we've got the Eureka coming up, and then a couple of months ago they announced the running of this driving competition in Queensland coming up next year, where we'll see some of the best drivers from the world coming over to compete. The sport's going okay in Australia at the moment.
Oh, particularly New South Wales and Queensland are really thriving, and a lot of new things happening and good races. So, it's just nice to be a part of any of them big races or carnivals if you got the horses or the drives good enough to beat them.
Speaking of being a part of big carnivals, chance you could be a part of the Breeders' Crown in the States coming up later on in the year?
Yeah, hopefully. Of course, I sent the horses, across to America back in May, and, had them sort of worked up over there, and they're pretty much ready to go now. And Spirit St. Louis, Expensive Ego, and Bondi Lockdown are all paid up for the Breeders' Crown, which is at the end of October at the Meadowlands. So we'd like to get a few runs into them to see if they're going to be up to that level. And they're eligible for it if they're going to be good enough.
So what are your plans over the next couple of months? You're obviously here for the Eureka, but then what happens after that?
Yeah, here, obviously, the main focus now is the Eureka, and then after that, I'd like to head across to the States for 6 or 8 weeks and, be a part of some of them good races, and particularly that sort of time around the end of October when Breeders' Crown's on, and then I'll head back to Australia and be here for all the good races throughout our summer.
And the owners, you've got a number of owners. They've all been supportive of your decision just to take a little sabbatical across in the States. Everyone's okay with that?
Oh, for sure. And, the way the racing is in America for them sort of age paces, you can just place them so well. So, in time, I'm sure we might send some more horses over. But we're just starting out small and just wanting to get these horses raced, getting the system over there. So everyone's really supportive and just looking forward to something different, a bit of a new challenge as well.
And I guess the relationship, friendship you've got with Noel Daly and Brett Pelling and guys like that has assisted in getting these horses across there while you're still here in Australia?
Yeah, for sure. And, we've got the horses at Magical Acres, which is the same farm as Noel and Brett, and Linda Toscana is there as well. And a good friend of mine, Aaron Lambert, he's looking after the horses. And, it's just working out really well.
Yeah. Mate, exciting times. It really is. Looking forward to the Eureka in a couple of weeks' time. You know what it is to win one. You did it last year. Is there more pressure on you this year because you're not just driving in the race, you're also a trainer of two of the runners?
Oh, not really. We've been in enough big races to sort of not worry about that sort of thing. You just concentrate on making sure the horses are healthy and fit and as best as they can be for, all the connections going into it. So it's just more exciting than anything.
And did you catch the run of Never Ending last night at Menangle where it came from last and finished second to Major Moth?
Yeah, he's certainly a deserved favourite. He, smashed the clock there last night. He looked very impressive and, he definitely looks the one today.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for joining me today. All the best of luck in a fortnight's time and we'll keep a close eye on what happens with you after that.
Thanks, Hazy.
Tagged by Never Ending. It spots the leader, Never Ending, probably the best part of about 30 metres, and he makes it even more now because Major Moth goes for home. Oh, Barco just got into trouble there and is out of its gear. Going to second, Bulletproof Boy. Never Ending is going to be the deepest. They straighten up. Major Moth in 26.8 tries to break their hearts. Down the outside, Curly James and Never Ending is starting to hit top gear. Spots Major Moth about 15 metres, but it's closing. It's Major Moth, the leader. He's got to get to work on it. It's holding Never Ending for the time being, and it's going to be Major Moth. Have a look at Never Ending. There's a little statement for the Eureka in 2 weeks' time. It stormed home.
Well, he may have been beaten, but Never Ending has the tongues wagging of plenty of people across Australia after his performance in race number 2 at Menangle, chasing home Major Moth. He couldn't have shot the leader with a shotgun. Turning for home, he was that far away. Justin Prentice is the man who puts the polish on Never Ending. He's joining me to have a chat. Hello, Justin. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Greg.
Mate, you must be really happy with your horse after his run tonight.
Yeah, super happy, mate. I was obviously, I was happy with him during the week, and we're hoping he'd run a good race, but there is hope in that. You can't be as confident as what you are at home. Obviously, things are different, and he took a little while to settle in, but yeah, I was really happy with him this week, and obviously the draw, we didn't have any real high expectations. We just wanted him to run a good race and see him hit the line good, and for Junior to come back in and say that he was happy with him and steered well and everything like that, and he got all that out of tonight, so couldn't be happier.
Copped a little bit of a check. Was your heart in your mouth when you saw that?
Well, I was probably a bit delayed seeing, and I was switching from watching. I was trying to see what the lead time was, and then it was a bit of a heart and mouth sort of thing. But he's used to Perth racing, so he gets that a little bit over there.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit more rough and tough over in WA, that's for sure. So going to the races tonight, did you get everything out of tonight's run that you wanted?
Yeah, I think so. The horse sort of told me he's where I thought he was. He sort of suggested that he's, brought his WA form over here and he's going to be competitive in the Eureka. And Junior was really happy with his manners. He settled really well, and he looked so nice and relaxed in the warm-up, and the way he ran up that straight, and sort of hit the line really strongly as well. Junior said he took about 800 metres to pull him up after the race as well, which is a good sign that he wasn't out on his feet.
What did Junior say when he got back to the stalls? Is he the sort of bloke who gets pretty hyped up, or is he keep it sort of under wraps?
No, he's pretty relaxed. I think he was sort of glad that it was maybe over to some degree, but he just said he went bloody awesome. So that's as good a wrap as you can get, I think, from Junior.
And what do you do now between now and Saturday week?
We won't race again. That'll be his hit out. That was always sort of the plan. I don't really want to go next week over the mile and had a look at the 23. So, hopefully he continues to thrive at Cindy and Pete's place. He seems really happy there. So, hopefully he continues to thrive. And, we look forward to the Eureka. Hopefully we get a better barrage. Or
do you stay here the whole time? You're not flying back and forth? You're just here for the next 2 weeks?
Yep. I haven't left in one day. So, I was sort of thinking I'd have to go back and sort of do a bit of the team at home and see the family and that side of the thing. But sort of after he got over here and sort of wasn't settling in quite as good as what I'd planned, I sort of made the decision that I wasn't going to leave him. I had to stay with him and sort of make sure I get him settled in as I could. But yeah, as I said, probably going into the race tonight, I was much happier than I thought I was going to be sort of towards the end of last week.
So you mentioned he didn't settle in as well as you'd hoped. Has he got over that now? Is he more at home here? Yeah,
I think so. He's found a routine that he really likes, and it's sort of really settled out at Pete and Cindy's place. It's a lot like home. He doesn't have a lot happening during the day and gets to go out and do his paddock, and he's happy. And he's been licking his bin clean for pretty much the whole of this week. So I was getting pretty nervous every day going and checking his feed bin, but been really happy with him.
And what about your setup at home compared to what Peter and Cindy have got? Is it a lot different? Are you on a sand-based property where you are?
Yeah, I am, but I don't. I have a fast work track, a little bit bigger. Mine's about 9:30, so it's a little bit bigger than Pete and Cindy's. But he doesn't jog like in the heavy sand and that sort of thing at home. So that was sort of a good thing. I didn't have to worry about trying to copy that over here. And then we've just gone into Menangle and done his main sort of hobble work in a Menangle, which has been really good when he's going out on the track tonight. I thought so glad that he's, been out on the track and seen it before, and that should keep him nice and settled. And, I had the hobbles on him around Pete and Cindy's place during the week, and he got around the track fine. 12 months ago, there's no way in the world I would have got around their track. That sort of suggested to me just sort of how much he's grown up in the last 12 months.
So everything's on track. When I spoke to you last time, you spoke about it's like a state of origin. It's WA's chance to come across here and try and win the world's richest race. How big's the support team going to be? How many people are coming across to support him and cheer him on?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there'd be at least sort of 20 odd just of owners in him, I think. And then obviously, a lot of family and that are coming over as well. And I've got my wife and 2 kids coming over for they're coming over next Saturday. So they'll be over here for the final week, which will be good to have them here. And I'd say if he's anywhere near them at the finish line, you'll hear them, that's for sure.
Mate, how tough is it being away from the kids?
Yeah, it has been really hard, and just probably like when he wasn't settling in as well as I thought, like it sort of was getting to me a fair bit, and not having the kids and that around to keep you occupied as well and take your mind off things. They're when you're over here with just one horse and everything, all your thought process is going into that one horse. You don't stop thinking about him 24/7. So I can't wait for the kids to come over and we'll be able to do some things with them, take them to the zoo and that sort of thing. And yeah, hopefully, like I said, the horse continues to be nice and settled now that he's found his routine, and hopefully it'll be a little bit less stressful from here on in.
Yeah, it sounds like tonight was a bit of a stressful time for you because you just didn't know what you're expecting, what was going to happen when you got to the races. But he has well and truly put any concerns you had to bed.
Yeah, I definitely, the start of the week, I was thinking, I think, I was going to be a bit of a nervous wreck, and obviously I wouldn't have started him if I didn't think he was going to be able to, be somewhere near his best. But as the week went on, I started to sort of really, start to enjoy, my time over here more than what I did before, and enjoy the challenge of, having to, change his work to some degree and organise his time that he'll run over here compared to what he does at home and that sort of thing. Sort of being able to enjoy that this week. And, I was quite relaxed tonight. Obviously, it wasn't the grand final, so it takes a little bit of nerves, away, but it still, was a big deal to have him in and just hope that, he really sort of brings his form over here like we hoped he would.
Well, the bookmakers have reacted to the run because they've slashed him. He slashed his price. He's now into $2.50, $2.60 to win the race, and it is the world's richest harness race. Mate, we wish you all the best of luck. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. All the best of luck with Never Ending over the next fortnight.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Greg.
Time for the Menangle Express. Race 1, Captain Tom was heavily supported late into $2.40. Speed early from Captain Tom and Full Brother, but Captain Tom held the front. On the pegs, it was Captain Tom, Our Mate Menko, Alta Billy, DeGoey and Winona Ryder. Running line, Full Brother, Colonia Courage, Mick Danger, Vinky B and Speculating. First quarter 26.8, they backed it off 29.7 the second. There were no moves. Cam Hart started to ask Captain Tom to accelerate on the corner, and then he dashed for home as they straightened. 27.9 around the side, up the straight to go. He had to ease around 3 or 4 horses to try and get into the clear. Mick Danger got to the outside and finished strongly. Our Mate Menko got his chance from behind the leader. Captain Tom got very tired late, but held on. 27.2 home, 151.6 the mile. 20 metres more, Mick Danger wins. He was good. DeGoey didn't explode like I thought he might once he got clear. Vinky B held him up the straight. Jury's out with DeGoey. There was good support for him, so let's see what happens next time around. Oh, and by the way, I think Captain Tom might be a better chaser than leader. Race number 2, the favourite was Major Moth at $1.60. This was over the longer trip. Good speed from Bark, who crossed to the pegs and quickly looked to hand over to the favourite Major Moth. So on the pegs, it was Major Moth, Bark, Captain's Knock, Simply Sam, Arden's Ace, Malcolm's Rhythm, Never Ending. Running line, Bulletproof Boy, Pete Said So, Curly James. The lead time was 47.8, so that's quick. At the judge, with a lap to go, Malcolm's Rhythm ran up onto Arden's Ace, checked off it, which inconvenienced Never Ending, and Hall Jr. was happy to come off the pegs then. First half slow, 30.6, 29.2. They started to get serious from there. At the cages, Bark started to go roughly and caused a chain reaction with Captain's Knock, Pete Said So, Curly James and Simply Sam all copping a check to some degree. Bark went back into a pace and then galloped on the turn and was out of play for good. Major Moth took off around the turn. 26.8 was the quarter, set up a huge lead. Never Ending got to the outside and fired home impressively to run Major Moth to 3.7 metres. Arden's Ace dived through the middle for third at any old odds. Final quarter, 27.4. Mile rate over the longer trip, 153.2. Never Ending, outstanding. Arden's Ace, good. Simply Sam, never clear until late. Flooded home when clear. He's going well. Curly James tried hard. Malcolm's Rhythm was good again. And I'll give Captain's Knock a mulligan. Got the wind knocked out of him at a crucial time and never looked to travel after that. Race number 3, the favourite was See Ya Art at $2.60. Again, over the longer trip. Speed early from Montalbano, but was basically only protecting the inside until the favourite got there. See Ya Art crossed. So on the pegs, it was See Ya Art, Montalbano, Terry and High Voltage. Craftsman's Charlie was caught off the inside, worked forward to find the front. That left the running line looking like this. Double Act, Doug's Platter roll-up. Lead time 48.4. First half slow again with the first quarter 30.4, the second 29.3. Double Act got serious going Basically once they got to the cages. Wouldn't have actually been surprised if it's put its head in front on the turn. Jack Callaghan on Sia Art pushed Josh Gallagher and Doug's Platter out of the way on the turn to get into the clear, which left a lot of room for Montalbano. 28-1 around the side. Craftsman's Charlie kicked back. Sia Art started to wind up. Doug's Platter was trying to get back on level terms, but at the finish line it was Sia Art narrowly from Doug's Platter. Craftsman's Charlie, who finished third, never gave in. Final quarter 27-7, mile rate 154.7. They went into the steward's room after that with a protest second against first. It was dismissed. Winner never gave in. Third horse was very good after being in some trouble on the turn. Roll Up was good late. Race 4, the fave was Miss the Truth at $2.70. Speed early from Mac Da Vinci and Canina Provlima, with Canina Provlima crossing. Star Major progressed forward and ended up finding the front, with Morris happy to take a trail on Canina Provlima. So on the pegs, it was Star Major, Canina Provlima, Mac Da Vinci, Porter Prince, running line Jillaby Nitro, Miss the Truth and Our Money Rocks. First quarter 27-2, then 29-4. Jillaby Nitro got serious at the cages and started to make Star Major work. 27-6 around the side. Star Major looked to be in some bother on the turn but fought hard. Canina Provlima stuck to the inside waiting for a run. Mr. Truth peeled. Our Money Rocks came wide. Star Major held on for the win. Now, Jillaby Nitro finished second. Good horse, racing really well, but not a death seat horse. So not sure on the form here. Mr. Truth looked to have his chance, although they did get home in 26-8. So the leader's gone 54-4. Mac Da Vinci dived back to the inside and was okay. He's going better now. Our Money Rocks is ready to run a race. He was good down the outside. I tipped Canina Provlima on SEN on Thursday with Gareth, and for mine, Canina Provlima looked to have every hope. Race 5, the favourite was Murphy's Reward at $2.50. This was back over the longer trip. Speed early from Outside Fighter. He crossed to the pegs before waving Murphy's Reward on. So in the early stages, they went into single file. Murphy's Reward, Outside Fighter, Tara Victory, Kate's Virtue, Our Treacherous Rain, Maybe, and the Metal Flyer. Lead time 49.8. And the first two quarters, 30.5 and 28.1. Speed was constant from here on in. Before the cages, Scott Ewan came off the pegs with Tara Victory to try and put more speed into the race. They were going quick enough. 28.2 around the side. Murphy's Reward was in trouble. Outside Fighter eased to the outside. Kate's Virtue tried to follow Outside Fighter, which left a massive gap on the inside, and of course, who takes those massive gaps? Robbie Morris. And the Metal Flyer came up the inside, maybe got to the outside, but Outside Fighter held them off in the straight to give Grimson and Callaghan another one. 28.8 home for a 155.7 mile rate. Last three quarters, 28.1, 28.2, 28.8. That suits Outside Fighter. Maybe rattled late. It was good. Metal Flyer saved ground. Thought the rest had their chance and not a lot to report. Race 6, the feature, the Ranji Bill. The fave was Artie's Express at 155. Speed early here. Girl from Rosedale had a look, saw all the speed and ouch and grabbed hold. Millwood Bliss kept coming, got down to the pegs. My Moonlight Dream was there for the retake, and Artie's Express just kept powering up to the front, and they went into single file. So, Artie's Express, My Moonlight Dream, Millwood Bliss, Treacherous Gal, Arden's Delight, Little Bliss, Total Diva, Girl from Rosedale. Lead time 48.9. Then the first quarter was 31.6 and the second was in 29.5. It really became a dash home, and that took all those back in the field out of play. First one to come off the pegs was Total Diva past the cages. 26.8 around the side, so up the straight it became two races. Artie's Express was out on her own, recording an easy win. My Moonlight Dream came around her wheel halfway up the straight, which left room for Millwood Bliss, but she couldn't make an indent. Final quarter, 26 for a mile rate of 153.9. Nice horse, the winner. My Moonlight Dream tried hard, but in a different league to Artie's Express. Treacherous Gal was strong late, running third. Race number 7, it was the trot, the fave here, Toro Stride at $2. Super Service and Toro Stride were the first two to get going, while One Magic Kenny made a meal of the start. Caligula didn't get involved, surprisingly. Super Service held Toro Stride, which dropped in behind it, and then Caligula got serious and progressed to the front. So on the pegs, Caligula, Secret Service, Toro Stride, Down Under Earl, She's a Pleasure, King of Love, and Chief Running Cloud. One Magic Kenny got going and was caught as the lone horse off the pegs. 27.5 first quarter. They backed it off to 30.6, which allowed One Magic Kenny to slide up and put Toro Stride in a pocket. King of Love jumped onto One Magic Kenny's back. Fitzpatrick got going on the leader, and he ran a 28.5 third quarter, but the final 200 metres of that quarter was a lot quicker than the first 200 metres. Toro Stride was absolutely bolting, but couldn't get clear and was pocketed. Caligula off for the prize. Toro Stride had to be eased to get into the clear. The bird had flown. Caligula too strong. Toro Stride unlucky. Probably should have won. One Magic Kenny ran a ripper after making that early error. She's a Pleasure was good late. Good to see her savage the line. Super Service, a little bit disappointing after its last two good efforts. Final quarter, 28.6, mile rate, 155.2. And race 8, the last, the fave was Wave the Bill at $2.70. There was speed here from Surface, King Tiger and American Legacy. King Tiger kicked through to lead. On the pegs, King Tiger, Surface, Constantina, Cash and Bling. Running line, American Legacy, Admirable, Has the Courage, Wave the Bill, Red Reactor. A lot of speed early, 27.8 first quarter. Not much respite, 28.6 the second. Admiral looked to be in trouble at the cages, and that looked to stall the running line. American Legacy straight up on the outside of the leader before the turn. Around the side, 28.1. American Legacy went for home, Has the Courage and Wave the Bill got into the clear. Cash and Bling, driven for luck, back to the inside. American Legacy just got tired in the final 100 metres of the race and Has the Courage worked down the outside to win. American Legacy brave. Cash and Bling zoomed home on the inside for third. Final quarter, 27.8. Mile rate, 152.3. King Tiger stayed on after being headed soon after turning, ran fourth. And the fave had the winners back on the turn and couldn't get home. Best win of the night. Well, that was easy. Artie's Express powered away to win. Much too good for her rivals, and there wouldn't be many mares in the country that could challenge her when she's at her best. Best beaten run of the night. Well, Blind Freddie could tell you that Never Ending was going to win this award for the night. Rocketed home up the straight after being forced wide in the straight. Nice horse. Looks hard to beat in the Eureka for mine. And best drive of the night. Blake Fitzpatrick on Caligula. For mine, he outsmarted them. Normally comes out all guns blazing, and what he did last night was let the other two go hard early before wrestling the lead away from Super Service. Got going on the turn, kept Toro Stride in the pocket, and that won Caligula the race. So smart drive by Blake, and he deserves drive of the night.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning. Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
To that I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner! Just like that.
And the winner is...
Well, Mr. T got Sweet Edition home in the 8th at Bathurst on Wednesday night. I struck out with my 2. So, final week of winter. This is the second round coming to a close. Mr. T minus $53 for the season. I'm minus 99. So I need something special. Bit of a Hail Mary. Let's see firstly what Mr. T has come up with. Both at Bathurst on Wednesday. Race 3, number 1, Man Mountain, named after Mr. T himself, he tells me. Last start winner at Bathurst, showed really good speed. Wade Judd has gone for Jai Coney as his claim driver this time, and from the draw looks as though it will be very hard to beat. That's race 3, number 1, Man Mountain. And race 7, number 8, Sweet Edition, doubling up with this one after it won for Mr. T last week. Does draw the outside of the front row, but Mr. T is of the belief that we'll just get a better price. So race 7, number 8, Sweet Edition. My 2, race 7, number 5, Carrera Sunset at Menangle on Tuesday. Chased home Lettuce Nipia last week when fave and couldn't reel in the leader. Got home in 27.8, 27.6. Beautifully placed in this race for 60 rated horses. She's a 70, but with the mare's claim, Tom Callaghan's claim, gets in really well, and Tom is driving extremely well at the moment too. So race 7, number 5, Carrera Sunset's my first one at Menangle. And the second one, race 8, number 7, Lockyer. A bit of a class drop after racing on Saturday nights. Kicked out of the gate very fast last time out. Never a factor when down the track behind Terry. Now, the form out of that race is okay. Has the Courage, finished third, and then came out and won the last at Menangle on Saturday night. So maybe Lockyer can enjoy the drop back in grade. Does get the services of Cam Hart, so let's go with it. Race 8, number 7, Lockyer. That just about wraps up the podcast for another week. My thanks to Luke McCarthy and Justin Prentice for joining me. I have been in contact with Jamie Dernberger-Smith from Summit Racing. They have no update at this stage with the Lost Storm, but I think that story is going to grow through the week, so keep an ear out for that one. Only one more podcast before the running of the Eureka. I'll try and catch up with some of the players in the big one again next week on the Sunday session, so make sure you join me for that. But right now, it's bye for now.